My last question. Okay, it's about sex.
Yeah. Okay.
Sex in dreams.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, it's happened to everybody. So like, I would like to know about it. Like, what is the meaning sex in dreams?
Well, that's a pretty general question, and the idea is that everybody has their experiences. You decide whatever. Everything is fine. It's whatever you decide your experience to be right now with your life. It's all fine, and through that, with whatever you decide, uh, you'll figure it out. So what is taking place here? So I'm gonna create a comparison which already exists here. I don't have to make up a story. And by the way, uh, I like that story about the chariot and the Thor and whatever. And of course, we have movies about Thor now, etc. And those are cute stories, aren't they, Charles? And anybody can make up a story, and it's fine, and it becomes so. But the sex and dreams thing, again, it's all fine. We have five bodies, and so not only in the physical sense, but in the other realms too, especially the astral body, because that's the emotional body. That's the faculty of the astral body, is the emotions, the sensations, etc. The causal body is basically memory. The mental is the mind body. And then we have the etheric, which is subconscious intuition. But yet all these bodies, like the physical body, they all have their systems and their places with whatever. And within the physical body, just like the experience that Sandra Saxon shared last time in the little Volkswagen, the Volkswagen represented her physical. She was the driver, which is the real awareness, and she had her three other bodies with us. So it's all compacted here in this. And so again, any idea, whether it's food, sex, taking a trip, wanting something, building a house, whatever, these are ideas and these are decisions that you make. And so the world controllers, of course, they've put out ideas there, like we were just talking about celibacy and stuff like that in the church. This is to more so control your mind so that you don't explore. So again, you have the right to decide to explore whatever you want. So that's more of a personal thing, kind of like going to the bathroom. You don't always talk about it a lot, but yeah, we all do that. But it's like, is a white toilet or a blue toilet, is one better than the other? Well, again, that's a personal choice. And so when it comes to sex, that's personal choice. That's your life and what you decide. And it's not according to the world. It's whatever it is. So you'll figure it out. And, in the meantime, you're young, have fun with it. Do whatever you like. But at the same time, you know what's best for you, you see? So you have the freedom to explore. Yeah. And it's
Okay, so
whatever you
okay.
decide. Yeah, it's
So
okay.
what? So what if you don't want to have sex? Dream you don't want it, but it happen
Then
all the time.
uh, the various bodies and coming down to the physical body through lifetimes and relationships, we've created these urges also. Okay, that also applies. When I was younger, I always used to have the urge to surf. Oh, I just love to surf. I wanted to go surfing. And as I grew up a little bit more and more, and I got into construction, my own business, etc., I saw the urge for surfing diminish, and I like that. It's like now I'll just decide if I want to go surfing or not. It's not just an urge. So it's also recognizing the experiences that you've had in the past that have come and exposed themselves into the present. This is one idea as an example. And so you decide that. It's just like anything. It's if you're a smoker or a drinker, let's say, and all of a sudden you decide, well, I don't want to smoke and drink anymore. So it's not always easy just to quit. So you creatively figure ways to do it. And so again, as these things are happening, because I've met many people, and all of us have come through past life experiences where we have relationships, And these relationships are still there, and they're still bothering us on all other levels, even from past lives. Even though this person may be here in another body somewhere, you may not personally know them, but the relationships are still there. So again, you are always the decider. You decide, okay,
Okay.
and you can put your foot down and say, no, go away. So if you decide that, that's what it is, and you make it so, you push the person away and you say, go away. I don't want to do this anymore. And so
Yeah,
you have the
I
right to
fight.
do that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I fight all the time. Yeah, I fight like I
It's a
say this is not
fight.
what I want. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
fight all the
fight.
time, man.
Yeah, it's a fight. Even
All
when
the
you're
time. No.
Hey, even when you're in the grocery line and somebody comes up and cuts in front of you, it's a fight, isn't it? Yeah, it's like I was here first, you know. But some people don't care, and they'll say, "I don't care if you're here first. I'm going ahead of you." So it's always a fight, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
would just like sing when I sing the new you, they disappear. That's what happened. Like when I sing the new you, they disappear, they gone. But it's always come all the time. But each time I sing the new you song, they gone. Yeah.
Many times it's old attachments, and as you sing the new you, it's like anything. You know, it's like an old love affair, and the person keeps knocking at the door or calling you on the phone, and you tell them to stop calling you on the phone. Well, eventually they get the hint, okay, even if it comes to the point where you got to get them arrested. So do the new you, and if you can remember, call on Rebazar or anyone, any of the boys, and say, help me here, please take them away. You have to ask. So ask Rebazar, the boys, say, I don't want this anymore. Please take these individuals away. And eventually they will remove the tap lines. And so sometimes you're going to have the experiences as a wake up call too. And so sometimes they may keep the tap lines in you until you firmly decide that, okay, you really want to do this. Are you going to just leave it alone and get on with things, etc.? So again, just pay attention. You're doing great because you're aware of this. You're doing fine.
Okay, because sometimes when I'm trying to call Rebeza, it's like they stopping my voice to come out, like they holding me, like choking me so that I can't speak.
Well,
That's
they
what
don't
happens
want you to
sometimes.
they don't want you to sing the new you. It was just like Neo
Yes,
in the first Matrix, where they wouldn't allow him to speak. And so again, yeah,
yes,
you have to learn to be more clever. And the boys are there; they see what's going on, but they want to see what you're going to do too. Just like a soldier, just like Chris when he went to boot camp. Every time he yells for the sergeant, doesn't mean he's going to go there. It's like, hey, Marine, go through it. So you're like a Marine. You're going through your course so that you're stronger and nothing will bother you. So you're going through your course. It's okay.
oh, okay. Thank
You're
you very
fine.
much.
Thank
Thank you for
thank
everything.
you. Yeah. Hmm.
Charles?
Yeah, 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 Josiane. I see, Josiane is laughing because, with an African background and especially a Cameroonian background, we have various interpretations of this kind of dreams. People will say they are very bad happenings
Yes.
when you have people come to assault you for sex and all the like, or you find yourself in some sexual activity with people you don't know, or you are
Yeah.
eating in a dream. They give you sharing food with
Food,
people that,
yes.
yeah, with people you don't know.
Bad luck,
So
yeah.
it's
It says
yes,
bad
it's
luck,
some
yes.
kind, yes, it's some kind of bad luck, it's some evil and all the like. So Christian has been very, very worried about this, and I understand it. I understand her concerns. And we have this, maybe if these things are happening too often to you, in the African tradition, you may like to visit a shaman who would try
Yeah.
to do something to stop this kind of occurrences. So But here with the new presentation, you see, we're having a better explanation of what is happening, and which will save you some money from visiting a shaman. Yes. It's
Okay, yeah.
maybe our past agreements, that are still working, that have not been ruptured, you see. And so,
Yeah.
we're having this kind of happenings in our dreams. And so you need to, as you say, as he said, put your foot on the ground and say no to them, and ask the real guides to sever you from this connections, and then
Yes.
it may also be a healing process for you. You want to be done, you see, with this kind of.
It will take time. Yes. Yeah. I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Thank you
may
very
take
much.
time.
Yeah.
Yes, it may take time. May not take much time, but you have to decide, just as you probably decided in the past.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be strong about the decision. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm finished. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank
Okay,
you, Duane.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing, young lady. Thank you so much. Yes, it's love to hear your giggles. Yeah, you're having fun with this. You'll be fine. The boys see you. You're fine. You're going to go through some funny little things like we did in high school with kids and all this stuff, and sometimes getting bullied or whatever. And it's all part of it. We get through it while we're going through it. It's not easy, but as we keep doing it, all of a sudden we understand better. So again, it kind of makes you, it kind of prompts you, it kind of makes you want to be motivated to do better for yourself, become more aware, become more self-sufficient. You see, that's the whole idea, until you wake up to where you are totally self-sufficient. So it motivates you instead of just being the human part and going along with the day-to-day life, just kind of living this dream here, because there's a bigger picture, because you've lived this thousands and millions of times, but you don't remember, and now it's starting again. So again, there's a bigger adventure, and you're starting to see it. It's so cool. So you see the butterflies come in, and again, they're not coming through the window, they're coming through the chimney. So they're going to try and get in any way they can. That's your personal self, which is your house. And of course, you're a little bit afraid, but little by little, you're going to get it, and just kind of have fun with it and imagine and just be ready for that experience. In other words, just set yourself up to be ready. So it's like, oh, I'm ready. I want to go now, you see? But you got to decide that. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you for explaining. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Josiane, you'll be surprised that this kind of scary dream, which in Africa is considered scary, and you have to visit a medicine man, is just lightly touched upon here, with no strings attached. It's just something easy to understand from the standpoint of the new presentation. But in Africa, in Cameroon, it will be something terrible.
Yeah, terrible, like
very terrible. Yes, they have to wash you with wonderful herbs in a sacred forest and do all kinds
rituals,
of rites, all kinds of rituals to sever you from these devils who are coming to possess you. So you see, the new presentation liberates us from all those kind of things. So it's great. Now I want to add that Josiane has created a group which is called Echoes from Real Universes. So if you have something to share, you can share on the Echoes from Real Universes too. Yeah, it's Josian's group, Facebook page, group that she's created. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Charles. Yeah. Everybody's welcome to share. Yeah.
Yeah, share to Echoes from Real Universes. Okay, Duane.
Okay.
I find the new is interwoven in all life, and singing the new keeps one in a kind of neutral zone. And I find some oblique, I don't know, references to the new in words like neuter, neutral, null, and some other words that I may not remember. No, Sasa. So what can you say about the new being interwoven in all life?
You mean like nuisance?
Yes. Nuisance.
Yeah, nuisance. Yes. Well, we're in creation. There's a lot of nuisance around, isn't there? Yeah. But then there's a lot of new sense here also, isn't there? So, yeah. Yeah, and that word that now that it's come to light, it could be that maybe at one time it was new sense, but now, according to the world controllers, it's become a nuisance, you see, and has taken on a new definition, hasn't it? To where it's something that bothers us. We don't want to be bothered by anything that makes sense, and especially a new sense, and especially me. They don't want to be bothered by what I'm presenting, or any of us that have the courage to step up and do it. We become the new sense, but we are actually the new sense about things making sense in a senseless world. And so again, they have to do heavily that control this human farming. They have to do a lot of heavy marketing to keep people doused and dumbed down to agree to nonsense. And so, it becomes very interesting that as we make sense of things, that things do really make sense. They can make sense. It's like, wow, it's so simple. It really does make sense. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's there, and life itself, I saw this, I recognized this with what was presented after we went through everything else for lifetimes, all these sayings and pretty sayings and cute sayings, and we all go through these things and they're fine. And the little Bible stories and the different religions and the and the hue and all these things, it's all fine, but now it's come to what life sees as new, and this is the new possibility, etc. And so, and this is the new year. This is the first Saturday, Charles, and so there's going to be many more. So just a reminder, Charles, it's always Saturday, so it's a new day, and so and thank you for asking the questions and bringing all this up. So. Yeah, as you see this, I kind of play with these things myself also, and it's fun. It is fun to do it, and so I have, what I said in the books is that I'm rewriting history, because, history has been, written a particular way, said a particular way, and for the most part, is it real history? Well, whatever. So I'm rewriting it to where it makes sense and that it's beneficial for everybody, and this becomes the new words, etc., the new terms, so that things are pointed towards a true reality more so than just one that is made up, to where we become self-convinced, self-absorbed, and we lose our own insight about what's really going on. So what does really make sense? And so that's the fun part. Yeah, go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
Yeah, Duane, you just talked about today being the first Saturday of the month. Yeah, and really would have had our African new friends from Congo, but unfortunately they are not there. Mariam sent me a message during the day. We communicated briefly. She's busy with a funeral. And she's the only one who can help, with whatever they are doing there. So as everything centers around her, so if she's not there, everything is paralyzed. So that is why we don't have no friends from Congo. But next week, certainly, when Mariam is done with all these funeral activities for a very close family member, the meeting, the African enlarged African Skype meeting will hold. So I think everyone is probably surprised that Mariam is not there. So that is the explanation for absence. I have some other question, and this goes to Duane particularly. You were chosen by the real guides among many other candidates to be the new man. Now, what happens to those not chosen? Do they continue on the wheel of reincarnation?
They send him to another planet.
Sorry?
They send them to another planet. They just haven't found Harry yet. Okay. Yeah, he's hard to find. Okay. He is hiding in Minnesota. Okay. No, nothing. It's like what happens to a candidate that's running for office or president or Congress or whatever. Again, it's, they give many people the opportunity. It's kind of like running for office, you might say. We'll just use that as an example. It's not really like that, but there's a lot more to it. But we'll have some fun here. And so, as a person decides to run for candidacy, they prepare themselves, and it goes along with their intent. And also, the real guys, what they do is they see the individual's intent. It's not whether they're smart or they've gone through this or they've got the so-called initiations or whatever in the past, as an example. It's not about that. It's about their intent and the potential that's there. That becomes the difference. See, so things can look good, like Harry looks good on stage and the president looks good up there and the Pope sounds good. But really, when you look behind the curtain of their whole being, what is there? And really, basically, very little, if nothing. The thing being is that because I could recognize this true reality, I always have. And because that's why I came into this life, I was prepared for a long time, many lifetimes, to do this. It's huge. And I really chose far back when. It's really, it's not so much that they chose me. It's this, at some point in my experience in creation, I recognized certain things, and I decided to move forward with it. I decided to activate it. I decided to, go for the adventure, figure things out, and it's been huge. It's very difficult here, each lifetime, and it came to the point to where, yes, as they look at it and the intent and the possibilities, the decision is made to whatever, and so this is where it is. And so what they do is they simply provide the opportunity. That's all they do. It's like, they kind of ask you like, well, do you want to do this? And you never know what you're getting into, of course. And so I immediately stood up and said, yes, I'll do it. And no one else did. And so, yeah, many people were there. Many people want this, but they don't understand really what it is. They have no idea. And so it's more than just a personal view. And I saw it on the real side, too. I saw all the people that wanted it. Oh, the boys were like on a little mini stage, was one of the experiences I had before 2001 when I first took the position. And I saw all these people, even Darwin was there on the real side, begging the real guides, oh, I want it, because he had done what he did, and etc. And now he wanted it again. He wanted whatever he wanted, and they could see it. And there was a whole crowd of people there. There was probably hundreds, and I was standing in the back of the crowd. It was kind of outside. It was kind of inside outside. It was a big area. And as I watched all this going on, I didn't have any idea of anything. I was just watching it. It's like, okay, whatever. And so then the boys, Paul and Rebazar and the boys, some of the boys, Yabel and whatever, came through the crowd. And the crowd separated, and they came right up to me. And then they escorted me to like an outdoor escalator and then just raised me way up. Okay, so again, the idea is that they chose me to see a bigger view, was the idea. Not that I was special. That's not it. Everybody is special. It's just that from the accumulated experiences and so many other things and the recognition that's possible, etc., they chose me, etc. And so again, but I had worked my way into that, and it's just like, Chris being a soldier, at a fort, any place or a military base. And, he's been there for years and years and decades, and he's done whatever. And, they see that, and you have the base commander and you have others, and, it's time for the base commander. He's going on to other things, or he's going to run for president or whatever. So they're looking for a base commander. And so the overalls, it could be the senators or whatever. They decide, of all the people, they're going to pick Chris, to be the base commander, because it makes sense for, how he's proven himself, etc. So, and then still it goes on from there. It's not just a title or whatever. I decided the Newman title from the experiences that I had on the real side. I decided that. And like Darwin and Harold had decided to use what Paul had used. They, in a way, you might say they misrepresented themselves, but they were creating tradition which backed up their position. Me, I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to create something more real, so little by little, I figured it out to what it is, to where it's a lot more fun and it makes more sense. And so, again, it's not about numbers, okay? It's about quality. And so, like the people here, it's not about that. It's about awareness. And it could be one person on this planet and even in all of creation that makes a difference. And so I'm going to give another little hint here. In other words, many people, many of the Akists and individuals have went to the Himalayas, the Kashmir, or whatever, to try and find Rebazar. And some of them did find him in the physical. He did appear to them. He knows what's going on. And he would tell them, look to the real side. You see, not this physical thing to where you stay attached to the body idea. That's why I don't promote my picture here, because it's not about me. It's about the whole of life. It's about the is. And so this is the best part. This is the best adventure. And so, again, it's look to the real side, and eventually you'll figure it out. But it doesn't mean it's going to be instantaneous, because you need to recognize it. And just like this young lady's experience here, the butterflies, you need to see past that. You need to recognize what's going on. And at first it's a little bit scary. So as people come into this, it's a recognition. So I always point people to Rebazar because, just because I do that, because I support the real guides, and I'm grateful for what they've done, always grateful. And so this is what I do. I say, look to the real side for Rebazar, and let's see if they show you. Some people, they do. some people have to struggle to see what's going on. There was one individual many years ago that he asked Paul and Rebazar to show him about the new man and whatever, and then they took him twice in the same night to this huge mountain that went into the sky. And so then he got it. But not everybody gets that experience. And this individual, he's no longer with the new presentation, too. He went to another path that he felt more comfortable. And I saw him on the real side, and I kind of said, what are you doing? You're wasting your time with this thing. But if that's what you want, go for it. And so he was adamant because he was very literal. And so it satisfied his literal mind is what it did. It made him comfortable in his one-dimensional literal mind. So he went off. Even though he had the experiences, see, that's the whole idea. You know, Darwin and Harold, they had real side experiences with the boys, many. But they didn't recognize the is. Not at all. They went to their personal life, became one-dimensional. Darwin failed because it was all part of a conspiracy that was taking place there. And Harold, he's really been ruined by Joni, and he accepts it. He accepts the dark side to where he is just a dot in the lowest part of creation that is so black. I mean, he went way further down, you might say, than Darwin did. But on the outer here, it all looks good. And so, yeah, there's a lot more to it. It's not about status. It's not about any of this stuff. It's about what can a person see? What will they do? Do they have the risk to step up? It's many, many things. And so, again, but I could see this. But I've went through a lot to bring this out, to figure this out since 2001, and even had to step back for a while because it became overwhelming, and then come back in 2007, to do it again and then to refigure it out. But during that time, I wasn't resting. I was going through hell and many times almost dying those 3 years that I stepped back in 2003. And so this has been a hell of a process for me. But I get it now. And so this is what we're doing. And so right now, from all that has been in creation, that is all that has been created, all the ideas out there that people have and they chase and cling to and think are important, no, there's only one thing, and that is that what is taking place right now with what we're presenting, this is it. And all the guides back this, and even the galactic adventures, because it all comes into focus. And many people have their personal attitudes. Well, you can have them and it will equal nothing because, again, life is bigger. But if you're really humble enough to let life show you without your personal arrogance and attitudes, lucky you, because most people aren't. They like their arrogance and attitudes. And so, but it doesn't work. And just like the Queen of Orion and some individuals here that have gone into the Phantom Zone, and there's going to be many more, you know, it's just time that we don't need to be destroyed anymore by these people that have destroyed others for the longest time. So again, the arrogance doesn't work. But what does work is learning to see and recognize the isness and being pure and sincere. Just simply be sincere and grateful that you have this now. And yes, there's only so much time. It's very real. Wake up or don't, because again, there's a lot to it, and there's always more that you don't know. So I never take it for granted.